campaign is going to take it to Joe Manchin straight to West Virginia. Fuck Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin needs to be impeached. He's trying to fucking kill democracy. Jesus Christ. We need For the People Act to get passed for the country. I mean, did you see what happened? The motherfucker lied about, for 2 months, saying he won the fucking thing. For 2 fucking months, lied and kept lying. And I think he's still fucking lying. And there's no, widespread voter fraud, said his own attorney general. So this is a motherfucker that just straight up lied, saying that he won. What if the election was actually close? Jesus Christ, what if there was, widespread voter fraud? Then what the fuck would we have done then?
Well, thank you so much for that question. If I having me, listen.
You're welcome.
One of the things we have came without
You're welcome.
and inside legislation. We have to understand that the Voting Rights Act, none of the laws that we've ever won. So why would we think it would take anything less? Manchin comes from a state where one of the senators before him was a deep filibuster. The Russell Building is named after a filibuster. So you got to put pressure. The people in West Virginia, though, invited us. They said they are sick and tired of him saying he's doing this because of West Virginia. So we're going to have minors there. We're going to have veterans there. We're going to have white folk from the hollers, black people from the hood. One poll says 70% of West Virginians want a restored Voting Rights Act and want the For the People Act. 81% of Democrats, 79% of Independents, and 76% of Republicans. So the first thing is to correct the record in his home state and let the nation know why all of us have to speak out. Secondly, we're going to make sure it's clear that this is not just about race. It's about race and class. Because when you suppress the vote, you also allow people to get elected through a suppressed voting patterns that then when they get elected, they block living wages, they block infrastructure, they block public education, they block health care. All things that West Virginians need.
So that's an incredible argument there. Poor People's Campaign is going to go. This is, June 12th. This just came out today. So on Monday, today is, Friday, Saturday? Today is Saturday. So in 2 days from now, the Poor People's Campaign is going to be in West Virginia to show Joe Manchin that the actual people of West Virginia are in favor of democracy. So what is this For the People Act? Is it all the, all that it's cracked up to be? Well, let's do a deep dive. Let's figure it out. But first, let's just, remember when, go down memory lane. Remember when Hugo Chavez gave poor New Yorkers heating oil to give poor New Yorkers some warmth during the winter? That's the kind of mayor I want. Somebody that is like Hugo Chavez. That's the kind of mayor of New York that I want. And did you know that Macron slapper, he actually got 4 months of jail time? 18 months is what he got, sentenced, 14 suspended. So, Jesus Christ, slap a president, only get 4 months in jail in, France. That's totally fucking worth it. Slap a president, 4 months in jail time, the Macron slapper, hell, he might get elected France's next president. Boss Tweed, the notorious Boss Tweed, Mr. Corruption, he said, you could go ahead and vote for anybody you like as long as I get to pick the candidates. And that's kind of like Assad in Syria, but it's more like Khomeini in Iran. Khomeini, that fucking Taco Bell Supreme Leader, the Khomania, the Khomaniac, he picked the 7 people. So vote for anybody you like, Iran, but I'm going to pick the candidates. And I'm going to pick my guy, and I'm going to pick 6 fucking douchebags. What are you going to pick No, you gotta pick my guy, right? Okay, so impeach Joe Manchin, fucking Joe Manchin, motherfucking Joe Manchin, Jesus fucking Christ. Joe Manchin is going to try to destroy our democracy, and he's going to say, because we need bipartisanship, the Republicans aren't on board with For the People Act, and we're not going to, that's because the Republicans are against democracy, the Republicans are against the people, the Republicans are against more people voting. The higher the turnout rate, the worse it is for Republicans. So instead of, Republicans just being for democracy, because it's, fucking American as shit, right? That's as American as fucking apple pie. But instead of being in favor of democracy and encouraging people to come vote, they, actively try to knock people off the voting rolls and try to, discourage people from actually getting out to vote. The lower the turnout rate, they think it's better, the lower the turnout rate, and typically that is kind of, low voter turnout rate means it's going to go conservative. More voters get in there, typically goes liberal. So, they're playing politics. That's why Republicans don't want For the People Act, because in their minds, They don't want you to go vote, because when you look at, then, you know, the more you motherfucking rabble go out there, the more you rat bastard fuckers are going to be liberals, and you're going to, no, just, you know, we got 5, you know, Republicans, just let them keep voting forever and ever. So the Republicans don't want more voters, or freedom, or democracy. They want to maintain the status quo. That's what they want to do. So, fucking Joe Manchin is sitting there trying to say, you know, protect Mitch McConnell. He's sitting there talking about the days of nostalgia. Remember when we all used to be fucking, he comes from a, you know, Republican or whatever, and people say, oh, for his politics. Fuck him. He needs to do what is right. And they're saying that they're going to try to eliminate the filibuster, but he's even opposed to that, so the Democrats can go ahead and pass this thing. He's saying he's going to save democracy because it's got to be a bipartisanship. Republicans are just trying to fucking sink this thing. If they were in favor of, or has any of them voiced, you know, fuck you. There's so many good things about For the People Act. Pass it. 800 pages. Pass it. I live in Colorado, so really, we have a great democracy. For the People Act won't help, you know, Colorado at all. But it, you know, for the rest of the country, for Kentucky, for Virginia, just had a 10% turnout rate in Virginia. We need For the People Act. Donald Trump almost destroyed the goddamn fucking democracy. He fucking roasted it. He, you know, set it on goddamn fire. People would rather listen to the Fuhrer than to participate in their democratic republic. So, For the People Act, I just heard 2 main things before I did this deep dive. One was it was 800 pages, and the other thing that it wasn't good for third parties. So let's find out what this HR1, SR1, For the People Act. Let's see what For the People Act is all about. Okay. So, For the People Act was authored by Maryland's own John Sarbanes, Democrat, 3rd Congressional District, Maryland. HR1 is an omnibus electoral reform bill, omnibus being comprehensive, electoral reform bill allegedly intended to strengthen voter rights, enhance campaign finance reform, address government ethics and corruption in politics. It's true that the option to vote by mail would become universal in every state. If HR1 became law, everybody could have, you know, written ballots. Section 1621 of the bill states the following: if an individual in a state is eligible to cast a vote in an election for a federal office, the state may not impose any additional conditions or requirements on the eligibility of the individual to cast a vote in such election by absentee ballot by mail. Under Section 3, Findings of General Constitutional Authority, H1, HR1 states in subsection C, Congress finds that states and localities have eroded access to the right to vote through restrictions on the right to vote, including excessive onerous voter identification requirements. As a result, Section 303A permits the use of sworn written statements in lieu of state identification requirements. In other words, as explained here by the economist, states with voter ID laws would have to let people without identification cast ballots provided they sign a sworn affidavit. So HR1 does not ban state voter ID laws. It only stipulates that those who do not meet the ID requirements can have the option to sign a sworn statement during federal, not state or local elections. And do a thumbprint, too. You're just going to come in without a picture ID. Bring a picture ID, motherfucker. But if you got to sign a sworn statement, sign your signature, put your thumbprint on the damn thing, fine. Go ahead and fucking vote. So Joe Manchin's words. This is what Joe Manchin, so some people are saying it's going to ban state ID laws. It doesn't ban state ID laws. It just provides another option for other people. So it doesn't, you still get to have your state ID laws. So here's a paragraph, Joe Manchin. I'll try to do my best Joe Manchin, impersonation. Well, as such, congressional action on federal voting rights legislation must be the result of both Democrats and Republicans coming together to find a pathway forward, or we risk further dividing and destroying the republic we swore. It's an empire, not a republic. We swore to protect and defend. As elected officials, Democrats in Congress have proposed a sweeping election reform bill called For the People Act. This more than 800-page bill has garnered 0 Republican support. Why? Because they're anti-democracy? No way, hold on. Are they the very Republican senators who voted to impeach Trump because of the actions that led to an attack? So he's saying, oh, because they voted to impeach Trump, so clearly are these the same senators whom many in my party applauded for their courage, now threats to the very democracy we seek to protect? The truth I would argue is that voting in election reform that is done in a partisan manner will all but ensure partisan divisions continue to deepen. I don't think so. What, automatic registration is going to make the fucking Republicans cry? Fuck you. Automatic registration. Same-day registration. Written ballots. Automatic registration. What the hell is going on? Fuck you. You have problems with that because you got problems with democracy. And you probably got some fucking daddy issues to boot. Now, with that in mind, some Democrats have again proposed eliminating the Senate filibuster rule in order to pass the For the People Act with only Democratic support. Do it! The Republicans are fucking pieces of shit. They've attempted to demonize the filibuster. Fuck the filibuster. Conveniently ignore how it's been critical to protecting the rights of Democrats in the past. Get rid of the fucking filibuster. Pass For the People Act. Fuck you, Joe Manchin. So how do I feel about this? I already said that I think it's great. Colorado's democracy is the best democracy in the world, or just about goddamn near, maybe not Maine. Okay, so Colorado doesn't have instant runoff voting, so we're about perfect. We don't have instant runoff voting, so we're 95% perfect, right? Get us some instant runoff voting, and then Colorado will be perfect. And actually, some kind of instant runoff voting is on Jared Polis's desk right now, so, oh, shit. Colorado might be the most perfectionist of the perfectionist states. Now, Colorado did not need For the People Act. Now, Kentucky, on the other hand, and West Virginia probably, Virginia, Kentucky, no referendum, no initiative, no recall, just one homophobic question in 2004. No written ballots for everybody. Election day is just, 12-hour period on a work day on Tuesday. Turnout is abysmal. Sometimes it's in the single digits. So a state like Kentucky would have benefited greatly for the People Act. And I would think that West Virginia is probably, similar in the terms of the level that how many democratic tools do they actually have. For the People Act would have helped West Virginia, the people of West Virginia, substantially, but Joe Manchin needs to protect Mitch McConnell more than he needs to protect the people of West Virginia. Since Colorado's democracy is strong and only needs instant runoff voting, like I said, personally, I don't give a shit if For the People Act passes or not. We got our super strong democracy, America. If you want to get, you want to empower the people, if you're a peasant, nobody, if you're not a, oligarch, if you're not a rich or wealthy person, then you want a strong democracy because that increases your power. Jesus Christ! If you don't realize you're proletariat, then you're working class. You work. You got a job. You're cheap labor. Okay. For the People Act doesn't help Colorado at all because Colorado already has everything that For the People Act provides. So we just need instant runoff voting here. That's it. So Colorado's smart. But the rest of the country, if your state, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, if you don't have, democratic tools, then you need to get them. So let's get into it. What does this fucking thing do, right? 800 pages. Well, let's start. For every single federal election, For the People Act will do automatic voter registration. You get a driver's license, you get to register to vote. You get a driver's license, you get a state ID, right? You get some sort of federal elections, automatic voter registration. So that's, what the fuck, how is that not possible? You're born in America, you should just automatically be registered to vote. Same-day registration. This means you can register on election day. So you just moved into town and election day is right around the corner. You could, show up on election day, register, and vote. So that's good. That increases voter turnout rate. And what's the fucking problem? Why you got to register a month, prior anyways? What the fucking shit is that? 2 weeks at least of early voting. So that's good. That helps, increase voter turnout rate, restore voting rights to all felons who have completed their terms of incarceration. They've done their time. So now, welcome back as the fucking citizens that they are. Allow registered voters lacking IDs to submit a sworn statement instead. So we've already talked about that. Okay, so all these things, they've been trying to restore voting rights to ex-felons for quite some time in Kentucky, so that would just get that shit done. 2 weeks of early voting, same-day registration, automatic voter registration. What is Joe Manchin afraid of? Either these things help democracy or they don't help democracy. I'm sorry if the goddamn Republicans don't want to fucking, be in favor of democracy, but to say, well, I want them to be on my fucking team, you need to ask them if they actually give a shit about democracy or not. Because, if they're the party of the Fuhrer, they're the ones that just tried to fucking destroy democracy. and you couldn't even get that January 6th fucking commission. So, no, fuck you, Joe Manchin, you fucking dickhead motherfucker. And then there's something about attempt to limit the voter roll purges. So, Kentucky would benefit from all these. Colorado already has all these. Automatic voter registration, same-day registration, 2 weeks of early voting, restore voting rights to ex-felons, allow registered voters lacking IDs to submit a sworn written statement instead. 2 weeks of early voting, Colorado gets 30 days of written ballot, same-day registration, we already got that. Automatic registration, we already got that. I'm not sure, I think probably restore voting rights. Seems like we seem to be on our shit for everything else. Initiative, referendum, recall, right? We're the ones that released the gray wolves. We legalized marijuana. What else did we do? We released the gray wolves, legalized marijuana, family plan leave, right? Family and medical leave. We passed family and medical leave too. So Jesus Christ, we're Colorado's adults now. We are officially adults. And frankly, if the Democrats would just kneecap Republicans if they lead off with the strong voter ID laws and update on the voter database. Update the voter database, have strong voter ID laws. That's okay, right? We want people to, be able to prove who they are. That's the best way to have voter integrity. I like the written ballot things here in Colorado. You get one written ballot. It's all on the computer, so you get, it's got one written ballot. It's got the number and your name on it. You try to get somewhere else, you won't be able to get it if you're in between moves or some shit. They'll fucking know. They'll fucking know. So this, Colorado is just fantastic. I cannot speak, enough good about Colorado democracy. Now, H.R. 1 for the People Act quintuples the amount of green presidential campaigns that would be required to raise to qualify for federal matching funds. So now, in order to get federal matching funds, which is increased, instead of 1 to 1, it's 1 to 6. But instead of just getting $5,000 from 20 states, now you have to get $25,000 per state. In 20 states, I guess, I don't know. I hope not 50 states, 20 states, right? Because $25,000 in all 50 states, that's the only way you'll qualify for federal matching funds. The Green Party, Howie Hawkins, Jill Stein, both qualified for federal matching funds. But, Obama, ever since he, went ahead and forgo, it was more, profitable not to go the way of the government. So this just hurts Green parties. There's some other poison pills. Abolish the general election campaign block grants that parties can access by winning at least 5% of the vote in the previous presidential election. H.R. 1 would eliminate this provision that was created to give a fair shot to alternative parties. Voices the Green Party calls for real reforms to democratize elections. We need to wait. Inflate the amount. Inflate the amount of money national party committees can give to candidates from $5,000 to $10 million. Astonishing increase of a shit ton. So the two-party system gets, unlimited amount of fucking money. Meanwhile, the Green Party can't even. So that's not very fucking good, right? It's a lot of complicated federal shit, but I'll trust the Green Party's, perspective on that. Instead of trying to fool American voters, the Green Party is actually calling for the Fair Representation Act, which is, ranked choice voting, and also they want fully public campaign finance. So I like that idea. Fully public campaign finance for every federal, state, and local office through the clean money, clean elections model now used in Arizona and Maine. I like that. I like the fully public campaign finance for every fucking goddamn election. They say welfare for politicians. No, fucking get our elections right. Jesus Christ. We need to get our democracy. They try to destroy our democracy, so we've got to make our democracy like 1,000 times more stronger, right? They try to take it all away from us, so we have to make it so fucking strong that no motherfucker, even if they considered it, even if they thought about it, they couldn't get rid of the motherfucking thing. I mean, what if Donald would have stayed? That would have been, what, civil fucking war? So here's more information on what it does with the Green Party. The current donation threshold to qualify for a 1-to-1 match is to raise at least $5,000 in at least 20 states, and donations no larger than $250 each. So you can only get $250 per person, and you need to get, Jesus Christ, and you need to get, how many per whatever. So, 20 per 20 states. The public already supports funding minor party candidates under this formula. Jill Stein, 2012, 2016. Howie Hawkins, 2020, qualified for matching funds in the last 3 cycles. The new HR1 threshold would replace the existing 1-to-1 match program by a 6-to-1 match. It simultaneously increase the minimum amount of donations by 500% to a minimum of, man, I'm not going to read all this. Sorry, it's just too fucking much. It's just too fucking much. We need to rank choice voting and full, financed public elections. So For the People Act does a lot more than just the things that I mentioned. It's 800 fucking pages, okay? So For the People Act, this is from the website from, Washington, D.C. government. The government, the U.S., the government of the USA. A bill requires that the president, vice president, and other candidates for those offices must disclose at least 10 years of tax returns. So I like that idea. I don't even know how the fuck did we not see the tax returns of the fucking president? The bill requires states to establish independent redistricting commissions to carry out congressional redistricting. So that's good. They talk about election security, sharing intelligence information with state election officials, support states in securing their elections. They're going to establish a national commission to protect United States democratic institutions, other provisions, cybersecurity, da-da-da-da-da. Campaign finance, including by expanding the prohibition on campaign spending by foreign nationals, requiring additional disclosure of campaign-related fundraising and spending, required additional disclaimers regarding certain political advertising, establishing an alternative campaign funding system for certain federal offices. The bill addresses ethics in all 3 branches of government, including requiring a code of conduct for Supreme Court justices. That's nice. Get the Supreme Court justice a fucking code of conduct. Prohibit members of the House from serving on the board of a for-profit entity. Fucking fantastic. Jesus Christ. And establish additional conflict of interest and ethics provisions for federal employees and the White House. It's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit. Somebody said that it's actually better. So when I think about that Green Party thing, there's, there's 2 ways to look at it. You could say, well, shit, you could get more, matched by a ratio of 6-to-1, but you'd have to raise, funds from small donations of under $200, and you'd have to raise $25,000 in at least 20 states, and it's only under 200. So let's assume that they give, $100 a piece. You would need 250 people to give $100 and 20 states. Then you would get matching funds 6-to-1. So if you're able to qualify it, then fantastic. But it went from 5,000 to 25,000. So I think because that big fucking number, it's not 5,000, it's 25,000. Yeah, you're gonna match it 6-to-1. But Jesus Christ. And you know what? It's going to be a bigger payday. So if you're able to get 25,000 in 20 states, then that means you're going to get 6 times whatever you fucking raised in 20 states, right? So that would amplify the voices of small donors, theoretically. So if you know the laws and know what you're doing, theoretically, if you're a Green Party, you might be able to, actually do better under this system. But it doesn't, bode well. It's a 2-party system. I can understand why the Green Party wouldn't. And then you have to get to 25,000. So really, I think it's going to be the high barrier to entry will do more damage than it does actually help. So, is there a ban on state voter ID? No, you just have to sign that affidavit. Allows written ballots. There's some chicken littles that says, well, written ballots, you need to have, a fucking goddamn witness, or you need it to be notarized. No, fuck that. You get the written ballot, it's got the fucking number on it, and if there's some shenanigans, call the fucking election department if somebody's trying to steal your vote. Because that's a, fucking federal crime. That's election integrity issue. That's a big fucking deal. And then to get your ballot notarized, that's too much. That's too fucking much. That's crazy. Colorado's written ballot is attached to your name on the computer. Fraud's virtually impossible. I mean, there was that one guy with the husband and wife. I guess they could, fill out each other's ballots. But you get one written ballot. It's got a number attached to your name. And that's it. That's the only one that you get. So, let's see, what else? For the People Act ends partisan gerrymandering. It shines a light on dark money, creates multiple matching system for small donations, reinstates same-day and automatic, or in-state, not reinstate, just in-states, same-day and automatic voter registration across the country, early expands early and absentee voting, re-enfranchises former felons, restores the Voting Rights Act. That's nice. Martin Luther King, the Voting Rights Act gets restored, enhances federal support for voting system security, ... It also slows the revolving door in Washington so that former politicians can stop getting rich as lobbyists while undermining our public interest. So, my fucking God, look at all this shit. 800 pages, right? They threw some weird shit in with the tax returns, but I like it. I like it. Let's keep it, right? Restore the Voting Rights Act, right? You got system security, automatic voter registration, same-day voter registration, expanding early and absentee voting, written ballots, re-enfranchising former felons, creating multiple matching systems, shining a light on dark money, ending partisan gerrymandering. Let's see, written ballots, what else? I mean, my God, this is just so much fucking great stuff. This is shit that the states, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, you needed all this shit anyways. How come you don't have this shit? The state should have already done this shit. So this is just basic common sense. It's like, if anything, it's like the federal government's like, okay, guys, we got to at least get on this fucking, I mean, same day, this is the same page. We at least got to get on this same page. Come on, for our democracy, do we support democracy? I mean, we're going all over the world, you know, overthrowing countries and shit in the name of democracy. And here, do we really support democracy? Joe Manchin does not support democracy. So fuck Joe Manchin, impeach Joe Manchin, and pass For the People Act. For the People Act is a good thing for the country. Doesn't really help me, doesn't really help Colorado, but it'll help the rest of the fucking nation. And maybe it does, you know, maybe there's some shit that Colorado can update and, you know, it'll help Colorado and make us, you know, sharper in what we do. So hell yeah, fuck you, Joe Manchin, and U.S. Congress, Lauren Boebert, and you know, Michael Bennett and Hickenlooper, pass For the People Act. Pass For the People Act. I think I like it. I like it. We need to fucking strengthen the democracy. It got you attacked, and this, you know, puts a little bit of backbone. This puts a little, you know, scaffolding. This puts some foundation. This puts our democracy on a firmer foundation. So there you go. Pass For the People Act. Impeach Joe Manchin. Peace.